All right, Sayat, man, it's been a while, man. Haven't
Yeah,
heard from you. I heard you've been really busy out there, so I didn't want
yeah.
to bother you unless it was something important. So that's why I
Not
called you up.
anymore. Anymore.
Now, first thing I want to go into is your fighter Shavkat. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Shavkat Rahmanov.
Yeah, Shavkat. He was supposed to debut last weekend in London, right? And that fight was canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And, what's gonna happen with him? Are you gonna try to put him on that Kazakhstan card, or is there another date being negotiated, or what's his situation?
For now, we don't have any information. He would prefer, of course, to fight before Ramadan, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Obviously, all the three shows got cancelled. So yeah, probably the perfect date is gonna be June 13th. But now we don't know if his show wasn't officially announced yet by UFC. And with the current situation, we don't know if it's gonna happen or no. It's a big question now.
Yeah, yeah. That was another thing that I wanted to talk about is the UFC Kazakhstan. It hasn't been officially announced, but there have been matchups announced, but not officially yet. So with Peter, he's supposed to be the main event, and Marlon Moraes is his opponent. Is that official on Peter's side, or is there something holding that up? Why hasn't the UFC announced it?
Well, we did. Peter did sign an agreement for the June 13th, but there is no location for the event in the contract. So I don't know. Right now, I guess it's not a time for announcements.
Oh,
So,
that's kind of a speculation then, that will be the location of the fight.
uh, well, I know from other sources that event was being planned and like everything was, and UFC want to do the shows there in Kazakhstan. So unless like if the situation will stabilize and I will be under control, I believe there will be show in Kazakhstan. It's not gonna be okay until that times, and obviously I don't think it can happen. Any show now in a big doubt, even like shows in May and end of April. I believe we don't know how it's depends on the situation in the world.
Yeah, definitely. It's everything's put on pause right now. With all the matchups and shows, and with this one, Peter, of course, he's becoming this superstar in the bantamweight division, just in the UFC overall, worldwide. Was there any other shows like discussed? Because you would think that Peter would be on like a pay-per-view at least. You know what I mean? Like he's that to that level now, right?
Well, we were hoping for a 5-round fight for the main event spot. I believe will shine better in 5 rounds. He's a 5-round fighter, and I think 5 rounds will favor him in a matchup like with Moraes or Sterling. I believe Peter is a favorite. It goes 5 rounds.
Was Moraes the first guy that they offered you, or were there other guys on the table? It was just Moraes is the one who kind of showed up and signed the papers.
Yeah, Moraes, was the guy they offered. Obviously, we're happy to accept this offer because Moraes is a number one contender now in the rankings. So I believe if Peter beat him, he will take his spot, and it will be hard to deny his title shot after that.
With Peter, is he in Thailand right now? I think he got there
Yeah,
not too long ago, right?
he's in Phuket. His family just arrived here yesterday. And, he's planning to stay here for at least a month now. I don't know. It doesn't make sense for him to go anywhere else. And as far as now, gym is open and still train. So yeah, for now he's here.
So the situation in Phuket right now is the gyms are allowed to be open. There hasn't been no government ban or order or anything that happened as of yet.
Yeah, right now in Phuket are like zero confirmed cases. So gyms are still can operate. Obviously, the number of the tourists are dropped, but yeah, Tiger is still open and still functioning as normal.
With the training camp, is it already started for Peter, or is he about to start his training camp?
Well, like I'd say official training camp for his fight will be like 8 weeks out. So now he can focus on other stuff, focus on like his trainings, on some techniques, just don't get too much into the fight camp, because it's 3 months is too long for a fight camp. So now he can take it easy.
With the coronavirus situation and Peter's fight supposed to be in Kazakhstan, are you monitoring the situation in Kazakhstan? How is it over there with the coronavirus? Because you don't really hear the country's name.
Yeah, obviously I'm monitoring. I have my family in Kazakhstan, so I'm well aware about the situation there. Right now there's about like 37 cases in Almaty and Astana. And those cities are going to be in quarantine and lockdown for the next months. So you cannot leave the city, you cannot go there. And so the government taking the situation under control, and hopefully everything's going to be okay.
With so many fighters that you have to manage and take care of, and this situation of events being canceled, it must be very stressful for you because you got probably calls and stuff going on all over the place, right?
Yeah, like fighters, they want to fight, they want to get paid, but obviously they understand this is a big situation now in the world. So everyone's being calm. They understand, like they accept the things the way they are, and they're just hoping for the best, still training, and waiting for the news, because situations change every day. Every day you hear something new. So just better be safe, stay optimistic, and we'll see what's gonna happen.
With Armin, he was supposed to fight in Portland. Now, with that event canceled, are you looking to? You're just basically on hold with him.
He was supposed to go to U.S. consulate on Friday to get his P1 visa, but now all the U.S. consulate around the world, they're canceling all the appointments. So I think first available appointment going to be in June. So now, for him, I don't know. Also, June 13th also sounds like a good date,
Yeah.
It's going to be Kazakhstan. He don't need a working visa, so we'll see. Obviously, I believe UFC will prefer to rebook these guys first because they already had scheduled fights, so they're going to be the priority for UFC.
So with UFC Kazakhstan, probably going to be one of the first few events. If we look at it in long term, you're going to have a lot of guys on that card most likely then, right? Because you already have unofficially 2 guys on your, that you manage.
Yeah, unofficially 3 guys already. It's going to be disappointing if it's not going to happen. For me, as a UFC fan, I'm a fan of the sport since 2008. Been following UFC, never missed an event. And for me, before as a fan, it was a dream to have a UFC event in Kazakhstan. And now it's it seems this is happening, I still, it was hard for me to believe it's going to happen. But now I'm not so sure, again. And if it's going to happen, it's going to be a huge event, We have in big arenas. I think it's easy, 30,000-40,000 crowd. They're going to be full stadium. Kazakh fans are very passionate about the sport. ACA fight nights cards, they're always full. It's 12,000-13,000 easy. And guys who were headlining the shows before, they're going to be on the prelims or on the main card. They're not going to be in the main event. So obviously, if this show going to happen, it's going to be a huge event.
So with regional promotions, they come in, do a show. It's near around 15,000 up to that point, right? If the UFC goes in, it will double pretty much automatically the attendance. That's how big it is.
Yes, easy. It's going to be double. They have Astana Arena. They have football games there, and it's 30,000 capacity. If you add a ground floor, you can easily make it 40,000 attendance. So if they want to do it this big, it's possible. Also depends on, of course, ticket prices too, but it's not gonna be too expensive. Yeah, 40,000, I believe it's gonna be.
Going back and forth from Kazakhstan to Asia, because you've been around everywhere. You've been to China, now you're in Phuket in Thailand, but you've been all over the place. Going back and forth for the last few years in Kazakhstan, how big has it become, the UFC?
Yeah, like it's very big, very big. I think it's one of the most favorite sports in Kazakhstan now. Because in Kazakhstan we closely follow always Olympic boxing and Olympic wrestling, and MMA is naturally become one of the most liked sports in the country. It's kind of in our blood and our nature to love the combat sports. We have our traditional combat sport called like Kazakh wrestling. So I don't know, people just love it and very passionate about it.
So you must get recognized when you go back, because you're at all the events and you do, you're on camera once in a while. So do they recognize you?
Yeah. Now it's sometimes I can walk on the street, people will come up to me and take a picture like I'm a superstar. But, yeah, like we have very good fans, and like they're very active in social media. Like you can see like fights with Kazakh fighters online. Have crazy amount of views. Like last fight with Zhalgas versus Ali Bagaudinov, I think it did 2.5 million views on YouTube. Wow. So it's big, and obviously with Kazakh fighters getting signed to UFC, it's the sport getting more and more recognition too from the casuals too.
Massive, especially if you're going back and they're stopping you for pictures. That's getting pretty big, right? And you're not even a fighter, you're not even fighting in the cage. So
yeah,
let's go to some of your other fighters. Someone that I'm really interested in and see them get back into the cage is Kairat Akhmedov. What's his situation right now with one championship?
So he was supposed to fight April 17 in Malaysia. Obviously now this event is moved to Singapore, and some of the fights being rescheduled to different days, and Kairat got a new date for May 1st. Like we verbally agreed for that, but there's no bar agreement signed yet, because like I said, situation change every day. Now like you cannot really like travel to Singapore from Thailand. Like they can either deny you entry or put you on quarantine for 14 days, or you can get tested and you can like go as usual. So we don't know how it's going to be like, but for now he's also here getting ready, and we're hoping for the best.
So he's probably been getting ready for a while. He's probably been in camp for a long time then.
Yeah. He was hoping to get a fight end of the last year, but obviously it didn't happen. And now we got this date, May 1st. Yeah, hopefully it's gonna happen, because he didn't fight over a year now already.
Yeah, a lot of crazy, interesting matchups in that division for Kairat to get in there and dive in head first. Now, unfortunate thing happened in Phuket. Mavzar, he got into an accident. Can you go into detail about that and what really happened? Because he looked pretty messed up in that picture that you uploaded.
Yeah, just some guy, some tourists driving a car just smashed their motorbike, and they got into this accident. And obviously, it was impossible for him to compete, because it happened like 2 weeks before the fight, and all these wounds they wouldn't get, because with the climate here, it's impossible to this wound to get healed so fast. So with adding the weight cut, adding all this, we didn't want to put like UFC in the position where he's gonna pull out, or the commission not gonna let him fight one day before the fight. So we just let them know like I think 10 days before the fight that he cannot do it, and also UFC doctors agreed with us. So he pulled out. He's healthy now. He even said if there's like a short notice opportunity in April, he can jump in on that. But obviously it's not going to happen now. So Probably he's also be back June 13.
Also, Rafael, what's his situation with his knee? How is his rehab going? I see that he took the brace off, so it must be getting better.
He's already completely rehabbed.
Okay.
He last week he was back into full training without no restrictions. He started sparring and everything. So yeah, once again we hope he's fight June 13. But we obviously I understand it's not going to be like 15, 16 fight card. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Now, a guy that should be on the UFC Kazakhstan card is Damir. Damir's 3-0 in the UFC. Were you guys in discussions for a fight before all this coronavirus happened?
With Damir, he also was just got back to the training after his ACL surgery. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, he got hurt again. He torn his Achilles. He was playing football. I don't know why he was doing that. And he was just running. It wasn't like a tackle or something. But his Achilles torn. So he's sidelined, I believe, for a few months. So for sure, he's not going to be available for Kazakhstan card.
Now going all the way back 360 to Peter. Peter's the big dog. Now with him, he goes in there. I believe like you guys will have the event in Kazakhstan. It's gonna be back to normal pretty soon, probably within the next month. He beats Moraes. That's like automatically whoever wins the fight between Cejudo and Aldo that's the fight, right? There's no other choice.
I believe that. How you can deny a guy who's gonna be on a 7-fight winning streak, beat number one contender, and obviously there's a big hype behind him too. After he beat Uriah, fans in USA start to realize how good he is. And now he's known not just for hardcores, but for everyone else out there. And he's not speaking English fluently, but he's still in the media. He's giving interviews. He's always loud. He's making sure he's being heard of and someone voicing his opinion. And you guys should follow him on social media, and he's always have something good to say.
yeah. Well, I've been following him for a while, so I know he always got some kind of a comeback for whoever wants to go back and forth. In that picture that he put up about with the book, with the hooked on phonics thing.
Yeah, trying to keep things, entertaining.
Yeah, and I like that. Like most guys from like Europe, they're not really into that, right? They're not really into the back and forth and keeping themselves in the social media, but seems like Peter's very good at that. Like he understands the game.
It's the way he was before UFC. He had a famous rivalry with Magomedov, and it was hilarious actually. The way they go back and forth. It was one of the original trash talk wars in Russian MMA. So he was always like that. It's his personality. He's obviously coming to the UFC. He's not gonna do something different. Of course, I and some other people have to help him with translation, like for Twitter or something else. But it's the way he is. It comes from him always. It's naturally. So it's pretty. Just the way he is,
I'm glad that you're safe, your family, and hopefully everybody stays safe in this situation. I appreciate, the time that you give me. I know you're a busy guy. Hopefully everything clears up within the next month and everything's back to normal and we can live our lives like we normally did.
Good to hear you guys okay. Thank you for reaching out. And I see Korea handling everything well, with the situation. Hopefully the rest of the world kind of follows that.